Hi, welcome back to my channel. This is Jennifer Scrappy and Kane. Today I'm sharing an 8.5 by 11 layout for Series 18. Today is June 2nd and today's layout is by Scrappy Sisters. I will leave their YouTube channel link down below, and I am going to do a zoo layout as the sketch shows. I'm going to use 3 photos instead of 2. I have one 3x4 and two 2x3s. And then on the sketch, it shows a 4x6 and a 3x4. I'm going to kind of sort of stick to the same sketch, but I'm going to change it up just slightly so that I can fit 3 photos. I have a few scrap papers here. This one's from a paper pad. The rest are from Echo Park. There are 2 different zoo collections. I don't remember the name of this one here, but this one, the rest of it is going to be Little Explorer, including the sticker sheet that I showed. And I also have a few other scraps that are in the stash bag from this collection because I had used it before, mainly leaves. And I'm going to bring those in and also use those. I have a white cardstock piece of paper here. This is from the Vicki Boutin Mixed Media Pad. And I did get started and realized my camera wasn't recording. So first I used a few different not distress oxides. Those were shimmers that I was using at first to do the first couple of layers that you see on the paper already. Now I'm using distress oxide. This one here is scattered straw, and I'm also using squeezed lemonade. And I mixed them together hoping I would get the right yellow, but it's still just too bright. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in some, this is the liquid distress oxide that is vintage photo. So it's a little bit on the brown side, and it works perfectly to make it more of a brown yellow versus bright yellow. And then I'm just going to put it around the layout in various places. I do want it a little bit darker in some areas than others because I want it to look like the giraffe paper that I'm going to bring in. So that's why the reason I was adding that yellow paper. And it's pretty much pretty dark. I do bring in another distress color that is speckled egg, I believe. And I'm going to put it around a little bit more, hoping it's going to be a little bit darker. It really doesn't get any darker. Um, it just kind of stays the way that it is. It does add a little bit of a green tone because I'm mixing it on top of the yellow. Sorry, had a little coughing fit there. I'm not sure why, but anyways, that's what I'm using now is the speckled egg, and I'm just adding a little bit of water to it. And like I said, I'm mixing it on top of the yellow, so it is going to turn a little bit green, but it's going to stay the yellow also, and that's okay because green is in the papers also, of course, because the leaves, some of the leaves are green, some are yellow, some are like a orange color almost, and then there's a few brown ones also, and then there's this like pretty, I don't know, it's like a gray blue color. And I'm going to bring in all the colors when I bring in the leaves. So I was okay with mixing the paints together, and I actually liked the color that it made. So this was one mixed media that I really liked doing and didn't really have an issue making it. I also did not warp my paper. I'm not sure if that's because it's from the Vicki Boutin paper pad. So this paper is a watercolor paper, so I guess it's really made to take water, and it really did. It didn't warp almost at all. It warped just slightly, but really not a lot. So you saw I watered down some white acrylic paint and splattered it. This one here is ground espresso, but this is also a paint. It's a like a distress paint from Tim Holtz, and it's really old. It's actually kind of like gunky, but adding a little bit of water to it, and it was fine. And I'm just using it for splatters, so I'm not really concerned about it or anything. I just wanted the brown splatters, and I thought the espresso would be dark enough that it would look good with the layout, so that's why I went with that instead of the vintage photo. Because the vintage photo I figured would kind of look the same as like the splatter or the paint that's already in the background. So that's what I splattered just now was vintage photo, and it did kind of just blend in the background. But I really like the way it looks, and I think it turned out great for mixed media. Just kind of showing you that the paper is not really that warped. It warped a little bit, but it's going to totally flatten out once it's in the album. So I have everything ready to go over here on the right hand side. I'm going to layer up the larger photo on that blue paper from, actually, that is from Echo Park. And then the little brown paper is also from an Echo Park scrap. I have a lot of the zoo papers in like plastic sleeve that's all Echo Park zoo papers. Since they mix and match, a lot of Echo Park's colors overlap in each collection. So I went ahead and just mixed them in as I use them. I keep them in a little scrap baggie until I'm done with everything. I won't toss it because some of these papers I cut from like little tiny scraps because the leaves can be cut almost out of any size as long as the leaf is present enough that you can make it still look like a leaf. There's a few of the leaves that aren't even a full leaf, but they work because I'm going to tuck them in, and so they'll only be peeking out a little bit. So I put this cute little giraffe down here at the bottom since that's what we're looking at here at the zoo. This is a little giraffe exhibit, which he loves to go see the giraffes because we get to feed the giraffes. Although on this particular day, he did not feed them. It wasn't feeding time. And the Denver Zoo, they have like a special time that certain times of the day that you can feed them. We would rather go to the Cheyenne Mountain Zoo, which is in Colorado Springs, because you get to feed them all day long. Um, and it's really fun because you're up close and personal with them. So, but this particular day, we were just checking out the new baby giraffe that happened to be born, and he was walking around out in the exhibit. So that's the reason we were intrigued by them that day. We weren't getting to feed them, but we did get to see the baby giraffe. So here I have the little giraffe pieces that I cut and inked up the edges, and I'm just going to place them around the layout. This is not in the sketch, but this is something that I thought looked good with the mixed media in the middle, and then adding these to the edges. So here's where all the leaves are going to start getting tucked in. Nothing's glued down, and actually I end up like moving everything because it sticks to my finger and I kind of drag it across the page. But I would rather play with it and make sure that I get them in the right place before I actually glue them down. So that's kind of what I left in this time. I don't usually leave this part in. Usually I just cut it out um, because I lay everything down once and then I go back and glue it down. And that's where it kind of got stuck to my finger and I moved it down with me. But I was trying to decide if I needed more leaves or if this was going to be enough. I decide I do need more leaves, but first I want to go ahead and start gluing down some of these leaves so that I'm not knocking them around every 5 seconds as I try to move around the layout. I want this photo to be kind of sort of center, and then I do want it to be straight though, so that's why I was using the T-square ruler, and then I'll put this one over here. And then again, I'm going to add the leaves back in, and I'm adding a little bit of liquid glue on them as I put them down. And I didn't count, like, usually I know exactly like how many, there's 3 or 4 in each little section, or I just kept adding leaves until I thought it looked complete. So there's not a certain amount in each area. Some of them have 4, some have 5 or 6. Most of them, I think, have 4, including like 3 bigger ones and then a littler one. So up there at the corner, you can see that one. It was only like half a leaf, but it was perfect because it just tucked in behind and nobody will know that the rest of it is actually missing. And then here I'm just fussy cutting a few more leaves because, like I said, I needed a few more. And I wanted a brown one, and then I wanted a few more little like green ones that are the darker green, but are smaller size. So that's what I'm cutting right now. And I'm just using small scissors, and the easiest way is just to move your paper, not your scissors, and just go around and just fussy cut. And it's not my favorite thing to do, but for layouts like this, I've done this before with this particular collection, and I absolutely loved it. So I was okay with fussy cutting for this purpose because I knew the end result I would love. I went ahead and just did it, and like I said, I really love the end result. So here I'm adding one more, I believe over here, yes, to the left hand side. And I just keep adding and adding and adding. I'm not, like I said, I'm not counting them. There's no rhyme or reason of how many. I just did it until I liked it. I am going to add one more sticker. You'll see it in the close-ups, but pretty much that is it. I am done with this layout. I hope you guys enjoyed today's layout. I definitely enjoyed the sketch from the Scrappy Sisters. There's the sticker that I added in, the little rainbow that says let's go explore. And that is going to complete my layout for today. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video. Please like and subscribe. Bye.